Sister banned me from her wedding over her fiancé's feelings. Now he's refusing to marry her. Some betrayals are loud, messy, explosive, impossible to ignore. But others are silent. They happen in whispers and side glances, in the way your family looks right through you until one day you realize you've been erased. And that's exactly what my sister did to me. Growing up, Emily was the perfect daughter. Smart, charismatic, always the center of attention. The one who could do no wrong in my parents' eyes. The person everyone adored except me. Because while she shined, I was the shadow. The quiet one. The one they never quite understood. The sister who just didn't belong. And for years I accepted it. Because what else do you do when your family barely acknowledges your existence? But then Emily got engaged. And suddenly, I wasn't just invisible anymore. I was the enemy. Emily had been with Jonathan for years. Handsome, successful, polite. The kind of guy my parents had always dreamed of for her. The perfect addition to her flawless life. I barely knew him. We'd met a handful of times at family gatherings and exchanged polite conversations, and that was it. But then, one conversation changed everything. It was Christmas dinner. Jonathan and I were seated next to each other, and for the first time in forever, someone actually spoke to me like I mattered. Not like I was an afterthought. Not like I was the awkward outsider. But like I was an actual person. We talked about normal things. Travel, college, funny stories from work. It was nothing. But to Emily, it was the ultimate betrayal. That night, as I was getting ready to leave, Emily cornered me. Her eyes were cold. "I know what you're doing," she said. I blinked. "What?" "You're trying to steal my fiancé." I actually laughed. "Emily, are you serious?" But she wasn't joking. "You've always been jealous of me," she snapped. "And now you're trying to ruin my relationship." "Emily, Jonathan and I just talked." "That's it?" "No. You were flirting. And he was looking at you." I stared at her, completely shocked. Because of this? This wasn't just jealousy. It was a delusion. After that night, everything changed. Emily ignored me at family gatherings. My parents gave me strange looks whenever I was near Jonathan. Even my dad started lecturing me about respecting family bonds. It was all so passive-aggressive. No one said anything outright, but I could feel it. The quiet judgment. The unspoken accusations. The way they had already decided I was guilty. And then, Emily got engaged. And she made sure I was the last person to know. I didn't even find out from Emily. I found out from my grandparents. "Oh, did Emily tell you the good news?" they asked one day. "What news?" I asked. "Her wedding, of course. She's getting married in a few months." I felt my stomach drop. She never told me. She never invited me. She had erased me from her life completely. And when I finally called her, she didn't even sound surprised. "Oh," she said casually. "I was going to tell you eventually." "Eventually?" I repeated. "Yeah, but actually, Michelle, I wanted to talk to you about something." "What?" "I don't think you should come to the wedding." And just like that, my own sister banned me from her wedding. "I don't want you there because Jonathan has feelings for you." I nearly dropped my phone. "Are you kidding me? It would just be uncomfortable for everyone," she said flatly. "So it's best if you don't come." "Emily, Jonathan doesn't have feelings for me. And even if he did, I wouldn't want him." "That's not the point," she snapped. "Then what is the point?" "The point is that I don't trust you." And that was when I realized the truth. She had always hated me. She had always seen me as a competition. She never once saw me as her sister. And suddenly, I wasn't hurt anymore. I was just done. "Have a nice wedding, Emily." And then, I hung up. Because I wasn't going to beg for a place in a family that never wanted me. But what I didn't know was that karma already on its way. And soon, Emily was about to lose everything. For years, I had felt like an outsider in my own family. But when Emily banned me from her wedding, I finally understood. She never wanted me in her life. She had always seen me as a competition. She would rather erase me than admit she was wrong. So I did something I should have done a long time ago. I walked away. And as it turns out, that was the best decision I ever made. Because soon, Emily's perfect wedding was about to fall apart. And I wouldn't have to lift a single finger. After that last conversation with Emily, I thought that was it. That she had finally gotten what she wanted. But a few days later, my mother called. "You need to apologize to your sister," she said immediately. I actually laughed. "Mom. She's the one who banned me from her wedding. She had every right to." I rolled my eyes. "For what? Existing? You know how sensitive she is. This is a really stressful time for her." "Oh, so now I had to cater to Emily's emotions? Even after she humiliated me? Even after she accused me of trying to steal her fiancé? Even after she erased me from one of the biggest events of her life?" "Mom," I said flatly. "Emily made her choice. Now she has to live with it. And then, I hung up, because I was finally done being the family's punching bag. And little did I know, Emily was about to face a nightmare she never saw coming. 2 weeks passed. I didn't think about Emily. I didn't think about her wedding. I had moved on. Then, out of nowhere, I got a text from my cousin. "You are not gonna believe what just happened." I frowned. "What?" "Jonathan called off the wedding." I nearly dropped my phone. "You're joking." "Nope. He literally walked out on Emily last night. The whole family is freaking out." And just like that, the wedding was over before it even began. I had so many questions. But as more details came in, I realized something even crazier. Jonathan didn't just call off the wedding. He left because of what Emily did. Turns out, he had found her secret group chat with her friends. And in those messages, she had been trash-talking him for months, calling him boring, not her type, and just a safe choice, saying she could do better but didn't want to start over. And worst of all, she had admitted that banning me from the wedding was never about him. It was about control. I don't want her there because she always looks better than me. She's the only one who could make me look bad on my big day. I just want all the attention on me for once. I sat there stunned, because this whole time, Emily had been so consumed by her own insecurity that she destroyed her own life. And Jonathan? He had finally seen the truth, and he wanted nothing to do with her. After Jonathan left, Emily went into full meltdown mode. She tried to convince him to come back. She begged, cried, swore she didn't mean what she said. She even blamed me, saying none of this would have happened if I had just played along. But Jonathan, he was done. And when his family found out what she had said about him, they completely cut ties. No wedding, no fiancé, no future as a lawyer's wife. Just Emily, alone in the mess she created. And me? I was sitting back watching karma do its job. Because I didn't have to get revenge. Emily had done that all by herself. For years, Emily was the golden child. The one who could do no wrong. The one everyone worshipped. The one who always had the perfect life. But now, her entire world had fallen apart. No fiancé, no wedding, no sympathy. And the best part? She had done it all to herself. After Jonathan called off the wedding, things only got worse for Emily. His family demanded the engagement ring back. They told everyone exactly why he left her. Her reputation took a massive hit. And suddenly, the people who once adored her started seeing her for what she really was. A manipulative, insecure, and selfish person. And me? I was sitting back, watching it all unfold. Because after years of being cast aside, ignored, and treated like nothing, karma was finally balancing the scales. They tried to downplay what she had done. They said Jonathan was overreacting. They tried to make it seem like just a misunderstanding. But Jonathan wasn't having it. He showed everyone the group chat screenshots. He let people see the way Emily spoke about him behind his back. He exposed how she had lied about me just to make herself feel better. And after that, no one defended her anymore. Even my parents, who had always chosen Emily over me, had to admit that this was all her fault. And when Emily saw that even they weren't backing her up anymore, she finally snapped. One night, I got a call from an unknown number. I already knew who it was. Emily. I let it go to voicemail. But the message she left was absolutely insane. "This is all your fault. If you hadn't been such a jealous little bee asterisk tishich, none of this would have happened. Jonathan wouldn't have left me if you had just stayed away from my life." I actually laughed, because even after everything, even after she was exposed, humiliated, and abandoned, she still refused to take responsibility. She still needed someone else to blame. But this time, I wasn't playing her game. I sent her one final text. "You did this to yourself, Emily. You lied. You manipulated. You destroyed your own engagement. For once in your life, face the consequences of your own actions. I don't owe you anything." Then, I blocked her number, because I was done being her scapegoat. I was done letting her drag me into her mess. I was moving on. And Emily was left to deal with the wreckage alone. After that, I started hearing less and less about Emily. She lost most of her friends. People at work avoided her. Even our parents stopped making excuses for her. And one day, my mom called me. For the first time she actually sounded ashamed. I think we made a mistake, she admitted. I raised an eyebrow. You think? We should have listened to you. We should have seen what Emily was doing. I didn't say anything. Because the truth? It was too late. They didn't regret how they treated me. They regretted that Emily had finally disappointed them. And I wasn't interested in being their second choice. Since then I haven't looked back. No more family drama. No more chasing after people who never valued me. No more wasting my time on a sister who never wanted me around. And honestly, I've never been happier. Because while Emily was still stuck in the chaos she created, I was building a life where I was respected, not discarded. And that was the real victory. For my entire life, my parents had made one thing clear. Emily was their priority. Emily was their golden child. Emily was the daughter who could do no wrong. And now, Emily had ruined everything. Her engagement, her reputation, her relationship with our family. And for the first time, they had to face the truth. They had chosen the wrong daughter. But the problem? I wasn't interested in being chosen anymore. After Emily's world fell apart, my parents did something they had never done before. They started reaching out to me. Texting, calling, acting like we were suddenly a close family again. Mom, sweetheart, can we just talk? We miss you. Dad, let's put the past behind us. You're still our daughter. I rolled my eyes. Because if this had happened years ago, I might have believed them. I might have let them back in. I might have forgiven them. But now, I knew the truth. They didn't miss me. They missed having someone to fall back on. And I wasn't interested. One day my mom called me. Emily wants to see you, she said. I raised an eyebrow. Why? She's been having a hard time. She wants to make things right. Oh, now she wanted to make things right? Now that she had nothing left? Now that no one wanted anything to do with her? I sighed. Let me think about it. I didn't think about it. I already knew my answer. A few days later, I agreed to meet my parents for dinner. Not because I wanted to fix things. Not because I wanted to forgive them. But because I wanted to hear what they had to say. And honestly, it was even more pathetic than I expected. Mom and Dad looked uncomfortable. Emily sat across from me, fidgeting with her napkin. No one knew how to start. So I did. Why am I here? I asked, leaning back in my chair. Emily looked up, eyes glassy. I wanted to apologize. I raised an eyebrow. For what, exactly? She hesitated. She hadn't actually thought this through. She just assumed I'd be so grateful for her apology that I'd come running back. She still didn't understand how badly she had messed up. So I pressed her. Emily, say it. Say exactly what you're apologizing for. She swallowed hard. For everything? Wrong answer. I scoffed. You don't even know, do you? Her face turned red. You accused me of trying to steal your fiancé. You lied about me to our entire family. You banned me from your wedding. And now that your life is in shambles, you suddenly want to be sisters again? I leaned in. Tell me, Emily, if Jonathan had never found out about your lies, would you have ever tried to fix things with me? Silence. Because she knew the answer. She would have let me stay the villain in her story forever. Emily's voice was small. I just thought we could start over. I let out a breath, feeling completely calm. Emily, I already started over. Her face fell. She finally realized I wasn't going to play along. I don't hate you, I continued. I don't wish anything bad on you. But we're not sisters anymore. We never really were. She blinked fast, trying to hold back tears. But no, Emily. This is it. This is what you wanted. You wanted me out of your life. Well, congratulations. You got exactly that. I stood up. Goodbye, Emily. I didn't look back. I didn't hesitate. And for the first time in my life, I felt completely free. Since that day, I haven't spoken to Emily. No texts. No calls. No second chances. And honestly, I have never been happier. Because for the first time, I stopped chasing love from people who never truly cared. I built a life that was entirely mine. And I finally learned that walking away was the best thing I ever did. And Emily? She'll have to live with what she did. With the fact that she ruined her own life. With the reality that I moved on without her. Because in the end, she didn't just lose her fiancé. She lost me too. And that was the real punishment. For years I was the outsider in my own family. The one they dismissed. The one they never prioritized. The one they never thought they'd lose. But now, they had to face the truth. Emily destroyed herself. I moved on without them. And for the first time, they had no control over me. Because while they were drowning in regret and guilt, I was thriving. A week after our final dinner, my mom called again. I let it ring. Then came the voicemail. Honey, I know you're upset, but Emily really is sorry. She's been going through a lot. She just needs time to heal. Can't you just be the bigger person? I actually laughed. Oh, so now I had to be the bigger person? Where was that energy when I was being accused of stealing her fiancé? Where was that when I was banned from her wedding for no reason? Where was that when I was being cast out like I didn't matter? I didn't even bother responding. I was done playing their games. Meanwhile, Emily's downfall wasn't over yet. Jonathan's family completely cut her off. The mutual friends she and Jonathan had? They all sided with him. She was now known as that girl who trashed her fiancé behind his back. And the best part? Her job found out. Someone leaked the screenshots of her disrespecting Jonathan and talking badly about her coworkers. Her boss didn't take it lightly. Her coworkers started treating her differently. And within a few months, she was forced to quit. She had lost everything. The dream wedding. The dream life. The reputation she spent years building. And the sister she always saw as less than. Was the one who came out on top. One evening, my dad called me. I debated answering. Then, out of curiosity, I picked up. Dad? Michelle, we messed up. Oh, now he realized? We should have treated you better. No kidding. We should have seen what Emily was doing. Funny how they only saw it when it was too late. We want to fix this. I took a deep breath. Dad, you're not sorry for what you did. You're sorry that Emily turned out to be a disappointment. Silence. If she had married Jonathan, you would still be treating me like I don't exist. More silence. And honestly, I don't need your apology. I already moved on. Sweetheart, no, Dad. You already lost me. And then? I hung up. Because this time I had the final say. Since that day, I haven't spoken to my family. No more forced conversations. No more begging for approval. No more being the backup daughter. And honestly, I have never been happier. Because for the first time in my life, I wasn't trying to fit into a family that never valued me. I wasn't waiting for validation from people who didn't deserve my time. I was finally free. And Emily? She's stuck in the mess she created. She lost her fiancé, her job, and her reputation. She lost me. And now? She has to live with the consequences. Because in the end, she thought she could erase me. But I was the one who walked away first. For years, Emily was the golden child. The one who could do no wrong. The one my parents always protected. The one they always chose over me. But now? She had nothing. No fiancé. No job. No reputation to fall back on. And the worst part? No one left to blame but herself. After my dad's call, I thought that was the end of it. That they had finally accepted I was gone. But instead, they tried one last time. A few weeks later, my mom sent a long, emotional email. Michelle, we know we made mistakes. But we're still your family. Please, just talk to us. Emily is struggling. She's lost so much. Maybe this is a chance for all of us to heal. We just want to be a family again. I stared at the screen. Because for the first time ever, they needed me. I wasn't the disposable daughter anymore. I was the one who had the power. And I wasn't interested in being their second choice. I took a deep breath and typed my response. I don't need a family that only wants me when they have no one else. You made it clear where I stood when you believed Emily's lies without hesitation. I moved on. You should too. And then? I blocked their emails. I blocked their numbers. I erased them from my life completely. Because I had finally learned something. Family isn't about blood. It's about who actually values you. And my parents? They never truly did. Months passed. I stopped thinking about my family. I built a life that was mine. Then, one day, I ran into an old friend. You'll never guess what happened to Emily. I blinked. What now? She moved back in with your parents. She has no job, no friends, nothing. She spends most of her time blaming everyone else for her life falling apart. And your parents? They don't even know what to do with her anymore. I smirked. Because wasn't that exactly what they deserved? They had spent years worshipping her. They had thrown me away to make her happy. And now they were stuck with the daughter they chose, while the daughter they abandoned was living her best life. Since then, I haven't looked back. No calls. No texts. No guilt. Because the truth is, I never needed them. I was never the problem. And now I was finally free. And them? They'll have to live with the fact that they lost me forever. And that's a pain they'll never escape. For years, I thought I needed their approval. That if I just tried harder, they would finally love me. That if I just kept the peace, they would finally see my worth. That if I just stayed quiet, they would finally include me. But now? I know the truth. I was never the problem. They were just the wrong people for me. And I am so much better off without them. One day, I was out with friends when someone casually mentioned my family. Your mom still talks about you, you know? I raised an eyebrow. Oh, yeah. She keeps saying she hopes you'll come to your senses and come home. I laughed. Because even after everything they did, even after they threw me away for Emily's lies, even after choosing the wrong daughter, they still thought I'd come back like nothing happened. They still thought they could erase the past. They still thought they had control over me. But I was long gone. Since then, I've built a life that is completely mine. I spend time with people who actually care about me. I focus on my goals, my dreams, and my happiness. I never waste another second chasing after people who never valued me. And my parents? They'll never get to be part of this version of me. They lost their chance. They lost their daughter. And Emily? She'll have to live with the fact that she was the one who caused it all. People always say you should forgive and forget. But I realized something. Forgiveness isn't about letting them back in. It's about moving on without them. And that's exactly what I did. No anger. No bitterness. Just a life they can never touch. Because in the end, they thought they could push me aside. But I was the one who left them behind. And that was the real victory. Hope you enjoyed this story as much as I do. Help this small channel grow by hitting that like button, subscribing, and sharing with your friends. Every bit of support means the world. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.